What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing a deck tech. It'll be a little bit different of a deck tech, but this weekend, the July 4th weekend, I have a big match coming up against King Greatness, King Kold versus King Greatness. We've been building it up a little bit, and I'm pretty much just I tore my deck apart and I'm gonna build it from scratch, and I'm gonna show you all how I would do that to fight King Greatness. And I don't care if he sees this, because we've been playing together long enough, and I know that if he sat down and did the same thing with my deck to go against his, he would probably build it very similar. So King Kold, my power is an 8, his is a 5, so I've got more power. My technique's a 10, his is an 8. My agility's a 5, his is a 10. My strike's a 6. His is a 9, my submission's a 7, or 9, his is a 7, my grapple's a 7, and his grapple's a 6. My gimmick is at the start of the match, choose an opponent, their maximum hand size is -3, and his gimmick is once per turn roll, when you and your opponent roll the same skill, add 1 card from your discard pile to your hand. Very good gimmick right there. And I'll Tarantino this, and I'll go ahead and show you my finishes, because they're not going to change. Got the top rope flying elbow drop. That'll give me +1 to tech. It gives me an 11. +2 to agility gives me a 7 on that. The filibuster, I've got to go with this. Not the greatest stat-wise, but it can be damaging to their opponent's hand. Or if I need to, I can draw up. So it gives me an 8 to my grapple, a +1 to grapple. I draw 1 for each follow-up I have in play, or my opponent buries 1 card in their hand for each follow-up I have in play. That can be very devastating at times. And my finished submission, I have to run it. It gives me +1 of power, submission, and grapple, giving my power a 9, my submission a 10, and my grapple an 8. And my opponent's maximum hand size is -1 for each card I have in play with arm in the name. That part never really kicks, but it gives me pretty good stat boost. Alright, so I apologize if there's times where I'm not really talking. I've got to figure out exactly what I'm going to put in the deck. I've kind of got an idea, a general idea of what I'm going to put in here. I'm just going to go through with what I do have in my binder right now. I have a volley for number 1. I got volley of strikes and leapfrog. That will boost my 5 and 6. So I'm probably just going to go with a punch. Punch at number 1. I definitely don't want to go with each player draws 1, because that goes against what I do, making their max hand size a 7. Because if I'm having him draw and he's getting to his max hand size and he's discarded, sure, that could be good, but not against him, because then he can just pick the cards back up. Number 2, I've got a chain wrestling, gives me +1 attack. Probably not going to go that route, gives me an 11, so we'll just go with the standard lockup. Number 3, some options I have. I can take +1 of power, +1 of sub. The power boost gives me a 9 on power. The clutch on the opponent would give me a 10 submission. I'm probably going to go with clutch onto opponent, giving me 2 10s for my turn rolls. Number 4, I've got your normal kicks, snap kicks. Definitely not going with the snap kick. Going over the ladder, not going to go with that. Not Irish whip. Spin kick. Your opponent randomly reveals 2 cards in their hand. They choose 1 of those cards and buries it. Let's see. If I go with that, I don't have a follow-up grapple stop, but what do you think? What could he... Number 19. I'm going to go with the spin kick, because I don't think he's going to run anything other than a stop at number 19, so I don't have to worry about a big-time hit. I mean, he could, but I don't think so. Number 5, I can go with the hip toss, the super hip toss. Not going with the going over the table. Follow up submission stops for number 20. I'm going to go with the single leg takedown, give me some more berry abilities in my hand, because later on I feel like I'm going to go with something a little bit different. At number 6, I've got a couple options, same as 4 and 5, but I'm going to go with an armbar because he's got a 10 agility and a strike of 9, so he could run like Insuguri and 718, stuff like that. So I definitely need to stop for that just in case he throws something like that. Number 7, we've got plenty of choices with number 7. Number 7, I can go with the draw or shuffle 4. I usually like to have one of those in my 7, 8, and 9s. I could go, your opponent buries one card in their hand. Kind of goes with what I'm trying to do. Chest slap, your opponent discards a card, or they flip 4. Definitely don't want to run that. I'm going to go with elbow smash, just in case. I'm going to go with elbow smash because it says bury 2 cards in any player's discard pile or look at their hand. Multiple options there with that. His gimmick triggers. He can pick up a card. Well, if I elbow smash and he's got like his finished grapple or whatever that's really good in his discard pile, I can bury it so that it's not an option for him to pick back up. Or I can obviously use it to my advantage, and if I'm decked out, I can bury 2 good cards. 8 and 9, got plenty of choices, just like the other one. I'm going to go with Scoop Slam on this, give me that option of recursion just in case I need it. I definitely don't want to not have it and need it. Number 9, I'm going to go with the same idea as number 7. I'm going to go with a wrist lock. Bury 2 cards in any player's discard pile or look at their hand. Number 10. This is one that I've already had an idea for. I'm definitely going with back kick. It's the alternate version. Bury 2 cards in your opponent's discard pile for each other lead you have in play. That could come in handy against him. If I can keep his discard pile empty, his gimmick is pointless. On the other hand, my gimmick is always going to be, well, I could go with a face slap or a slap because King Greatness deserves it. Number 11, same idea with the back kick. I'm going to run toss into the turnbuckle. Bury 2 cards in your opponent's discard pile for each other lead you have in play. Number 12, I would like to go with the pluses of my turn roll, but I definitely need a card to get me some cards in my hand, so I'm going to go with Arm Stomp. If you have another lead in play, draw 2. I'll go with this over the chin lock because, I mean, sure, the chin lock I can get more cards in my hand possibly, but for this to be better than this, I would have to have, what, 3 leads in play for this to become better than this, and I'll just go with the draw 2. Alright, number 13. First thing I'm going to look at is the stops. I've got if your strike skill is greater or your agility is greater, which neither of them are, so I'm definitely not going with the stop in that one. Mudhole Stomp is a great idea. Your opponent's agility is -1 during their turn and turn rolls. You go with a simple, your opponent buries 1. Flip 2, put 1 on top. Maybe to get some cards back that I really need. This is a tough choice right here. I'm torn between Flying Shoulder Tackle and the Mudhole Stomp. because the motorhole stomp would turn his 10 to a 9. During their turn and turn rolls. So that would affect his finishes. Yeah, let's go with the mud hole stomp. If I lose, I'll lose. No big deal. Alright, number 14. Same concept. Look at the stops first. I got a grapple is greater and a power greater. My power is greater. And my grapple's greater. But my grapple's only greater by 1. So I'm going to go with the falling power slam because I'm a 3 greater than that one. And I definitely don't want to risk him running something to give him a +1 grapple, which I highly doubt he would do. But you never know. Number 15. I'm going to look at stops first. If my submission or my technique's greater, and they definitely both are, and both of them are 2 greater. So I'm going to go with knee lock. If my submission skill is at least 2 greater than my opponent's skill, stop any strike, my next turn is +1. That's a given. Alright, number 16. Number 16, it's a follow-up. Mainly, every one of them, I need another follow-up and play for it to kick. So, I feel like if I'm in that point, if I'm at that point where I have a follow-up out and I need to play one of these follow-ups, I'm probably going to go with a draw 2, because that means I don't have a finish in my hand. And this will help me get to my finish. Probably going to be the same thing with 17. No, I'm going to go with stalling suplex. Kind of goes along with my whole, the whole thing I have. It says my opponent flips 2 cards for each other follow-up I have in play. I bury 2 cards in my opponent's discard for each other follow-up I have in play. Sure, this doesn't change how many cards he has in his discard, unless he's decked out. But it can kind of help me cycle some of the good cards out of his discard and put them on the bottom of his deck. So that could be good. I'm not going to go with that same concept with 18, with the straddle over the top rope. I'm going to go with the drawing in that spot as well, I believe. Yeah. Alright, number 19. If I remember right, number 13, I definitely don't have a stop, so I'm 100% going to run. Oof. This is a tough choice right here. I got elbow strikes or boot over the top. Elbow strikes, if I take that, I believe, I did not take the follow-up stop. I would be left with only 1 stop for a grapple if I took the boot over the top. But the boot over the top, your opponent cannot move cards from their discard pile to their hand. Do I take that risk? Normally, I see him running the atomic drop, I believe, the whatever it's called, where he flips his deck as his finish. It doesn't really give bonuses, but he could surprise me. I think I'm gonna go for it. I mean, that's a definite. I'm probably gonna regret that, but we'll see. All right, for 20, I have a stop at 15 and 16 for the next card. Where did it go? Or 14 and 15, sorry. I have stops for sure at those, so I can maybe go into something else. My opponent face drop suplex. My opponent buries a random card in their hand and discard 1 card they have in play. That can come in handy. Press slam. They bury all submissions +3 to my next turn roll. Submission stop strikes, so that will set up my top rope flying elbow drop. Then go with the flipping face buster. It gives me a +1 to a skill during my turn and turn rolls, or the bridging suplex minus in one of theirs. which those could pair up nice with the mud hole stomp. Or I can go with my patented electric chair drop. Don't really see anything else, so it's between neck breaker, press slam, or electric chair drop. I think I might not go with electric chair drop. Be a little bit more offensive. Go with the press slam. That's one skill requirement card. 21. This is not like me at all. I usually never run cards that are not stops in 19, 20, 21 unless it's like, you know, press slam or something, just like one of them. But I'm feeling a little lucky. And kind of same concept over here on the submission. Oh, well, crap. Let's rewind this. Makes me feel a little bit better. I apologize. Something I forgot all about. Boot over the top is going to go back in the binder. Number 19. That's the card that makes them not able to move cards from their discard pile to their hand. And I'm putting elbow strikes in. Back to 21. We're going to put the octopus hold in there. About screwed up big time. Your opponent cannot move cards from their discard pile to their hand. I've got to stop at 15, so I'm willing to take that out. Take out the stop in that spot. Number 22. Kind of already got an idea of what I'm going to go with here. Oh, where's that? Smash into the corner. Smash into the corner. Follow-up strike. Your opponent discards one random card from their hand. Bury 2 cards in any player's discard pile. That completely goes with what I'm trying to do. 23 and 24. I know one of these I don't have. Okay, I don't have the your opponent discards one random card from their hand. Bury 2 in any player's discard pile. It's for the submission. Oh, yes I do. Elevated ankle breaker. Let's check something real quick. See how much recursion I have, because I don't think I have any really. The only recursion I have is, well, 7, 8, and 9. They all have recursion. So if I need to, I can bury 2 for 7 and 9, or I can shuffle 4 back with scoop slam. We'll stay on the offensive. I'll go with Death Valley drop on 23. My opponent discards 1 random card from their hand. Bury 2 cards in any player's discard. And then on 24, I'm going with the headlock kick. My opponent buries 2 cards in their hand, I believe. You know what? Let's see how many berry cards I have in here, or discard. Death Valley drop, smash into the corner, press slam. I have 1, 2, 3 cards that bury from their hand. I'm torn between getting a card that can help me get some cards back to my hand. I'm actually going to switch one thing around real quick. On 23, taking the Death Valley drop back out. I apologize. And I'm going to go with the Flying Cutter, shuffle 2, draw 2. And I'll go with the headlock kick on 24. Your opponent buries 2 cards in their hand. It's his tag team match, draw 1. It's not a tag team match, so I'm not going to draw 1. I would like to, honestly, For any of the other two numbers, if I had it, the card that your opponent buries 2 cards in their hand, I would run another one of those instead of the smash, because I don't want them discarding. I don't want them discarding because he can just pick it up. I'd rather have him bury. So, I mean, well, your opponent discards a random card from their hand, bury 2, and any player's discard. If he does discard something good, I can bury it. But I'm going to run one of both. Number 25, definitely need to stop. I'm probably just going to go with the stop any. Normally I run the butt stomp in my deck. Stop any lead, grapple, or finish grapple. Your opponent buries 1 in their hand. But I don't have a follow-up stop except for the elbow strike, so I'm going to go with drop kick. Stop any. Number 26. I'm going with the butterfly suplex. Stop any lead or finish submission. My opponent buries 1 in their hand. I believe so. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that'll be alright. His follow-ups are going to be a little scary for me, but it'll be alright. And for number 27, wrapping the ropes, I'm going to go with that. Stop any lead strike or finish strike. Your opponent buries 1 in their hand. And that concludes my deck. Let me look at my strikes real quick. Finish strikes, see if there's anything that pops out to me that might be better against him. No. Oof. On second thoughts, I said Tarantino at the beginning because they weren't going to change, but this has a plot twist. So I'm going to take the filibuster out and I'm going to put the top rope superplex in there. It's going to make me bury cards for my hand, but it's going to hurt him a lot more than me. Each player buries 4 cards in their hand, plus 1 to all your skills. So the filibuster gives me +1 to grapple only, and I could draw, or they bury for each follow-up. But I'm going with the superplex. It hurts me, but his max hand size is 7, so even if he's at max hand size, he's going to be dropped down to 3. And if he's at 4 or less, then he's not going to hand left. Yeah. Alright, put the filibuster back in here. Alright. I hope you all enjoyed that video. Try to get through it as quick as I could and as best as I could. Probably 95% chance this will be the deck, completely the deck I run with when I face him King Greatness this weekend. Sure, some people are going to disagree with how I built it, but I mean, I don't care. But seriously, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Thank you all.